In this session on yoga anatomy, we will explore the importance of keeping the spine safe in yoga asana practice. There's a variety of tips and tricks which you can use to keep your body healthy in yoga, because there is a danger that we injure ourselves, paradoxically, while doing yoga, because we don't know enough about the anatomy of the spine. And this is what we will explore in this session in greater detail, so you have a proper understanding how to bend forward and backward and how to twist the spine in a healthy and safe way. So make sure to check out these very, very relevant recommendations. Rotation, twisting, it's called axial rotation around the axis. So the axis in the center stays stable, and there is a twisting, whirling rotation happening, which we have, for example, in the seated spinal twist, Ardha Matsyendrasana. We have that seated twist. We come back later to the importance of that. But we can also do the standing rotation with legs apart, knees bent, hips stable pointing forward to protect the knees. And then we can benefit from that rotation so much. An additional movement of the spine is the axial extension. Axial extension is along the axis. So this is creating length, space between the vertebrae. In this way, we are making the spine slightly longer, and this is called axial extension. Obviously, that is just possible a tiny bit. It happens actually overnight when the intervertebral discs are kind of recharged and swelling up again a bit. Then they get a bit thicker, and in the morning we tend to be slightly taller than in the evening. So for yoga, more important, as we briefly discussed it the other day, is in a movement of any direction, we first want to create space between the vertebrae before we engage into that movement. So, for example, forward folds, flexion, lengthen the spine, and then bend forward. And this we do in many ways, lengthening through the crown of the head, lifting the arms, sitting tall, lengthening even more. And then with a straight, long spine, we come forward and not just downward into the bending. So axial extension before the forward bend, but also before the back bend, that we're not just compressing by, for example, tilting the neck, tilting the head backward by collapsing into the neck here, but always with a long neck, lifting the chin. Keep that length in the neck. That keeps it more safe and healthy, avoids the compression of the vertebrae. As we discussed it, the intervertebral discs get compressed. They get forced together. And you remember that it is important to keep the discs, the intervertebral discs, keep them safe, specifically in forward folds, in the lumbar vertebrae, lower spine here. We want to be sure that we first create space between the vertebrae by lengthening the spine, axial extension, and then we fold forward, because when we fold forward in the flexion, the vertebrae, the bodies are here in the front, pressing onto each other. So the pressure comes in that very front spot here onto the intervertebral discs, where these two bodies anteriorly in the front are forced together here in the front. And that squeezing here in the very front, that opens up in the back, but it squeezes out the intervertebral disc towards the back posterior, and it cannot go straight back as mentioned, but will escape left or right backward. That is the most common habitual context of slipped discs, of so-called bulged intervertebral discs. And a very important takeaway message is that if we have this specific type of slip disc, which is among the most common ones, then because it is backward displaced, it's coming from too much forward folds, we want to avoid more forward bending. So no more sitting forward bend, no more standing forward bend. Be very gentle on the lower back with yourself and your students under your care. Keep that integrity, that straightness and protected position of the lower back by keeping the spine straight and just working the hamstrings with an upright spine very carefully, or not at all if it's aggravated fresh. Variations can be lying with your spine on the back and then with legs up in the air and yoga strap or some scarf working into the hamstring stretch in a safer way. Standing forward folds, holding a chair in front of the body to release the weight and still stretch the hamstrings a bit. There's many tricks for that, which we discuss in the related posture studies, laboratories, where we go into more practical applications, seeing how the muscular system works. We have many separate sessions on that. So here in this introduction, we take it more on the anatomy theory, while here and there, of course, drawing some connections over to the practical application in the yoga asanas.
I trust that you enjoyed this exploration of the movements of the spine. It is so important to know about your own body to keep yourself safe in the practice. And I'm sure that you have a variety of experiences with these topics, so please share your tips and tricks in the comments down below. And if you appreciated the content, please like the video and maybe follow us on the different platforms so we can stay connected. I'm sending you lots of life-loving wishes from the Balinese yoga capital Ubud, and also our friend Made here is sure to send you a blessing for your practice. Namaste.